What's up, Arizona? Welcome into something new. You're watching 12 Sports tonight on 12+. I'm Jake Garcia. We'll catch up with the rest of the crew in just a bit. But every Thursday night, come hang with us. We're talking all things Arizona sports. We're going to tell you the important stories, the ones that matter, and introduce you to the people that inspire. This is 12 Sports Tonight, Arizona's OG and longest running sports show, streaming on 12+. Let's go.
Mike Budenholzer, fired. One and done. Back-to-back years, the Suns now firing a coach after just one season. Next year will be their fourth different head coach in 4 years. Bottom line, Suns were just awful this year. They finished 11th in the West, missing the playoffs despite the highest payroll in the NBA. In the statement, the Suns said, change is needed. Yes, and fans deserve better. Plenty of fans sounding off on social media. This from Jay saying, Suns need to start by resetting the culture and identifying the root cause for going from a finals run to where they are now. Tony saying the Suns need to relieve James Jones of his duties as general manager. Could be coming, who knows? Our pal Dave Burns saying the issues go beyond Budenholzer. He is not a scapegoat, but no joy this season, and some of that falls on Coach Bud's shoulders. This guy saying, bro, any coach in the world would have had the same outcome with this roster. Y'all need someone else to blame besides Mat Ishbia, who's the owner. He's got plenty of blame too as well. And how about this one from Alex Rivera? It sums it up perfectly. It wasn't Budenholzer's dream job. It was his dream payday. That's the difference. This was supposed to be Coach Bud's dream job, right? Instead, it was just that dream payday. Remember all the joy from his intro press conference, hugging the late, great Al McCoy in tears? The Holbrook native, his dad was an Arizona high school coaching legend, right? Coming back home to coach the team he grew up rooting for. Instead, Coach Bud did not build relationships with his players. He was miserable to deal with behind the scenes, never helped promote the basketball team. Did you watch one of his post-game press conferences? Win, lose, it didn't matter. Watching paint dry was more exciting. Basketball-wise, they built the wrong team around Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. They were soft, no depth, no toughness. Now, that's not all Coach Bud's fault, but attitude reflects leadership. Coach Bud made the mistake I see far too often in this business. People forget why we all have jobs. They forget working in sports, especially being a head coach of an NBA team in our valley, is a get-to, not a got-to job. The Suns have some work to do rallying the fan base once again. They got to win back fans, bring back the joy. Representing our community is a dream job, so stop treating it like a dream payday. Those are my comments. Let me hear yours on social media at CamCox12. Welcome to the Suns funeral. Cameron Cox, Lena Washington, Jake Garcia, all on your screen. Lena, we'll start with you. What do you think of when you think of this season, and what's next?
A monumental disappointment, the arguably biggest financial disappointment in NBA history and franchise history for this Suns team that invested to get this team not just to the NBA Finals, but to bring the city its first NBA championship. And they have just gotten further and further and further with each year since making that run to the 2021 Finals. Devin Booker and James Jones are really the only two constants from that squad. And ultimately, the failures of this team fall on the front office. The players did all they could. I feel for Kevin Durant and everything that he's been through in his time here in Phoenix. We've likely seen him in purple and orange, I should say, for the final time. But disappointment and frustration, really, with just the lack of enthusiasm, care, seemingly, from Mike Budenholzer coming back to coach the team that he watched growing up as a Holbrook native here in Arizona. And then the honeymoon was quickly over, losing streaks that were just inexcusable. But I think fans are going to be sitting with this feeling for a couple weeks and months until training camp starts, Jake.
Yeah, my lasting memory from this is pretty much what you said there at the end. It's the agonizingly painful, boring, moping attitude post-game from Mike Budenholzer. Yeah. The best leaders across any industry, they get people to follow you. They inspire you to be better than you are. Mike Budenholzer did not do that for this team. And in fact, this team down the stretch of the season adopted his entire demeanor that we saw during the toughest times this season. They became weighed down by it. And I don't know, the facial expressions and the lack of pizzazz and energy just really grinded my gears as the season wore on.
The body language was brutal down these final stretches since the All-Star break, really.
Brutal all season, guys. Mike Budenholzer, in my eyes, was a zero this year. Could not have been worse for the Suns. A guy we all thought was going to come back, be one of us, be a Valley boy, and didn't show any care or emotion this entire year. I know he does care, but he didn't show it to any fans or make any connections. It rubbed a lot of people the wrong way behind the scenes. What I'm going to remember most is how the Suns wasted Kevin Durant and Devin Booker together. They need better players around those two and did not get it whatsoever. The only option moving forward now is to get rid of Bradley Beal. He will not be back next year. And Kevin Durant, you got to trade him to give some pieces and build around Book. It is just so sad to see how far this Suns team has fallen since that finals run. And this has all kind of happened under Mat Ishbia since he bought the team. He talks about winning a championship, and right now they couldn't be further away from it. I wonder if GM James Jones will still have a job here soon. Jones, of course, responsible for putting together that NBA Finals team run a handful of years ago. But can he really be the GM if the owner is calling the shots? Kevin Durant, by the way, expected to be traded in the offseason. ESPN reporting KD is meeting with ownership this week to work out his future. Bradley Beal won't be back. They'll likely have to buy him out if they can't find a trade partner. He is owed $110 million the next 2 seasons. Remember, he's one of 2 players in the league with the no trade clause. He can't stay healthy and was demoted to the bench midseason for poor performance, right? Suns will retool their roster around Devin Booker. ESPN reporting the team is expected to offer him a 2-year, nearly $150 million extension this summer. So, Book, what else needs to change with this team?
Win games, at all costs, try empower my will on, on the other team and, my teammates at the same time, being a leader, using my voice more, pretty much everything when you fall this short.
There's still several unanswered questions surrounding the future of the Suns this offseason, from the roster construction to front office roles and responsibilities. But one thing is clear, team owner Mat Ishbia is taking accountability for what he called an embarrassing season, falling extremely short of the expectations, and changes are coming. Details on what that looked like remain unclear, but he's made a promise to the fans that they will not have this happen again.
Embarrassing season, right? Disappointed, awful. I watch every game like all of you guys do. No one's proud of it. No one's happy with it. From me to the front office, to the coaches, to the players, to the marketing executive, to the security guards, everyone's disappointed, embarrassed, and it was a failure, right? We struggled. We didn't do a good enough job, and we got to do stuff different and change to be better. The team and the roster that was constructed by James, Josh, the scouts, the front office is much better than a 36-win roster. So there's a lot of reasons why Coach Bud's not here. I'm not going to get to all those reasons, but definitely believe we should have won a lot more games and been a lot more competitive during those games as well. Wish him the best, but it was the wrong coach for our organization and for that team. And at the end of the day, you can blame me for it because I'm the owner at the end of the day.
Ishbia making a promise to the fans that he will get this next head coaching hire right, and he will give it time to go through the processes to identify the right man for this role.
We're going to look for someone that fits the vision of the Phoenix Suns basketball organization, someone that's going to live out exactly what I'm talking about, someone that's a little bit grimy, a little bit grinder, a little bit tough, have a little bit of that in them.
Unfortunately, but fortunately for us, the season ended early, so it gives us more time to get this right. Unfortunately, the season ended too early, which means that we're in this position. But we're going to be diligent. And like I said, we're going to match the coach to the design of the franchise. The coach has to live and breathe and agree with everything that we're about.
Since Mat Ishbia took ownership of this franchise in February 2023, he's invested a considerable amount of time, money, and all the things that you want to see an owner do to contribute a winning product on the floor, to put a winning product on the floor. But the championship contending team has not appeared. They've gotten further and further away from where they want to be since that 2021 finals run. The highest payroll in the NBA. You've got Hall of Famers on the roster, first ballot ideally, right? But they also drudged up a lot of opinions from the national media, right? Broadcast partners, even like ESPN. Stephen A. Smith, he said, quote, Mat Ishbia is on the verge of being recognized as the worst owner in the history of basketball.
Ouch.
Yeah, well, Smith also included former Clippers owner Donald Sterling in
He's
that
the
comparison.
racist guy. Now, I don't think it's fair to compare those. What is he talking about?
It's not.
It's a bit for him, isn't it?
Well, that's what Mat Ishbia is really hoping for, right? Speaking in hyperbolic terms. But take a listen to what Ishbia had to say in response to Smith's harsh comments this afternoon.
Stephen A. Smith, I don't take much he says seriously, I don't think many people do, to be honest with you. The things he said about Kevin Durant, just wrong and disrespectful. The things he said about LeBron James were just disrespectful and inappropriate. And so with that being said, I don't really think Stephen A. believes what he said. I think, he's doing his thing. He's on the mic and he's doing what he's, and I think he'll apologize to me because I think it's disrespectful to put my name aligned with anybody that was kicked out of the league. Let's be clear. Winning is part of my job too, right? But there's a lot of things a great owner would do, and to even put me in that category, I thought was disrespectful. And like I said, we'll just move on from that. I don't really spend much time thinking about him.
Like you said, Troy, I mean, bad moves as a basketball team owner does not make you a bad person, a bad owner. I mean, he's still got a lot to prove, obviously, but he mentioned he's provided resources to his general manager, to his staff. I mean, lowering the concession stand prices for fans, making games accessible to our market in terms of viewership.
Putting them on TV,
Putting
free
them on
TV, which is nice.
He said it's not profitable.
Right.
He's not really in the business of making money. He's in the business of winning. That's not what they've been able to do in his tenure. So those changes are going to come. And if you ask fans if he's a good owner, I would suffice to say that he's not one of the worst. He's not Donald Sterling, Dan Snyder level bad.
I think he's better than the last guy we had. I even forgot his name. Who was the last guy? Sarver?
Robert Sarver. Yeah.
I like him better than Sarver.
I'm shocked that Stephen A. Smith didn't mention his name in that scope of owners behaving badly or with poor reputations in their market or nationally. But what a classy response from
I would say that was a lot nicer than I think most people would say back.
Got to celebrate Mesquite girls basketball head coach Candace Gonzalez. She is the winner of this year's Spirit of Cotton Award, a yearly recognition to a local high school coach that honors Suns legend Cotton Fitzsimmons, of course. Gonzalez just finished her 27th year at Mesquite. Go, Coach, go.
When I read some of the nomination forms that were submitted on her behalf, I said, how did we not know about her for 20 years?
You got 27 more years left in you or what?
No, I don't think so. I'd love to go on and coach at the next level, though. I think I'm getting ready for that, and I'm excited to maybe venture out a little bit in the next few years, so we'll see.
Cardinals have the 16th overall pick. They got 6 total picks in the draft, so what are they going to do? Well, they wouldn't tell us today, but how about getting advice from their own players, right? Their current players. Do they listen to their input?
I let the head coach deal with the players that have their opinions, and I typically walk out of his office when he starts telling me what our guys think. And our players have been a lot of help in free agency. Our players care, and that's awesome. Like these guys, we bring in college guys, and our players are great about meeting these guys. I love listening to our players just talk and getting their input. But come Thursday night, I think we'll probably handle whose name we're pulling off there.
Yeah, that's a no, folks.
Patrick Peterson wanted to retire as a Cardinal, but first he had to make things right. The way he left and the drama in the years since smoothed over with the organization and with owner Michael Bidwell. It allows Peterson to end his career in the same place that it started and in the city that became home.
I'm announcing that I am retiring a Cardinal.
A Patrick Peterson farewell party that doubled as a reintroduction to the franchise and fan base.
This is where my legacy is. This is where my legacy started.
Peterson's 10 seasons with the Cardinals were an emotional high, but emotions ran hot in the years since.
Where's Steve Hahn? Still running from me.
Peterson felt disrespected by the former GM.
Saying that I can't tackle, I'm old, I lost it. So I wanted to show him that.
A few years later, Peterson wants to show wounds have healed.
There's a lot of things, said, and it wasn't the greatest departure.
And he burned bridges, now just water under the bridge.
I had an opportunity to amend some of the things that was kind of out there that we needed to iron out, and we did that. We moved forward, we shook hands, we hugged, took pictures.
The picture taking continued Monday. Cardinals of the past and present locking arms for the lockdown corner.
You guys kept me going. You guys lit that fire in me.
A family that was once fighting.
I'm a part of the family now. I'm an Arizona Cardinal for life.
Comes out strong in the end.
Now I have an opportunity to look forward to my future, to honor my past. God bless. P2 out.
Peterson said the next chapter will be a job in media. Next chapter for the Cardinals might be hanging his number 21 from the rafters. Peterson said he had to retire from playing first before his jersey gets retired and hopes that he's next in line after Larry Fitzgerald. Just over a week before the NFL draft, but the excitement is already evident for Jonathan Gannon. He bounded into Wednesday's chat with local reporters, clapping and shouting, unable to contain the emotions ahead of his third draft as head coach. He has good reason to feel that way. Every draft pick from the last 2 years is still on the Cardinals roster. This year, less about addressing needs and more about adding talent.
Done this in a while. He's all lathered up.
I'm all lathered up. Good to see everybody.
An admission of a nervous tick because time is ticking down. The Cardinals are almost on the clock. Jonathan Gannon said the draft gets him going like game day, a chance to add pieces to the puzzle.
Ever since I got into the business, it's been O-line and D-line.
General Manager Monty Ossenfort has the final say, but he said draft day decisions are an imperfect science.
Hopefully we're right. Track record shows that at some point you're not going to be right, and yet we just want to be right more than we're wrong.
The Cardinals will make their first pick from the 16 spot, a longer wait time than the past two drafts.
You can drive yourself nuts thinking of what might happen here coming down the chute.
Ossenfort says they have a plan, ready to ad-lib if needed.
We'll do a few exercises next week where we try to take a look at what we think is going to happen, but in all reality, there's 32 teams and their boards look 32 different ways.
The Cardinals go from 12 draft picks last year to half that this year. It's a sign they're past the rebuild stage and into the expect to make the playoff stage. Round 1 of the draft is Thursday, rounds 2 through 7 on Friday and Saturday.
Well, CC, welcome back home. Welcome back to the desert. I want to start with your teammates, former teammates who are pretty excited to have you back. When it was announced that you were coming back, look at Darnell Dockett right here. We're definitely pulling up. Frosty Rucker, without a doubt. What does it kind of mean to bridge some gaps here with the Cardinals and bring everything together?
It's awesome, and Dockett, we had so many good memories here, man. We used to dominate, man. We used to take turns, like just meeting at the quarterback and, so disruptive, a lot of good memories. A couple of guys have joked about, suiting back up with me, like, come on, man, hey, we can do it together, why not?
Pull some strings.
Dockett probably could still play if he wanted to. Dockett was crazy athletic and crazy. I was just thinking earlier about how when I first, got drafted and I was here my rookie year and it's probably halfway through the season, forgot something in the locker room. It's 10 o'clock at night. I went and ran in and he came and grabbed it, and I'm just walking through and I hear some music playing. I look in there and Kurt Warner's in there studying, and I'm like, man, this is before you can study at home. Sure. Times have changed a whole lot.
What can you still bring to this team?
I want to bring some leadership, some confidence, and just some domination. I can still shut down the edge. Nobody sets the edge better than I do in the NFL. And I can still rush the passer, especially in the interior. And I plan to make some plays, of course. But then the leadership is just helping the young guys realize their potential and trying to make sure that we, as a whole, are the best version of ourselves and some of the young guys develop. But really, it's just hope to bring some wins, baby.
You mentioned you wouldn't have come here if you didn't think this team could contend for a title, and you've been there. You've been there with Wiz and the Super Bowl and BA. You got close in the NFC title game. What do you see from JG and this regime that gives you that confidence that this team can win?
First and foremost, guys that love ball. Guys that love ball and have great football minds. And then, guys who are willing to put the work in, and there's a lot of talent on this team. And the way the coaching staff seems to be, this can be a team that surprises some people.
What were your first impressions of JG? What was it like to meet him and sit down and talk ball with him?
Yeah,
his energy is something else, right?
Yeah, he's impressive. He's very impressive. I've been a fan. I'm a football fan. I follow everything. I remember when he got hired, from the Eagles, and I remember talking to some other guys who played for him and loved him. And that matters, right? All those little conversations, they're small. It's not like it's a big conversation, but it's just what'd you think about and who knew that it was a matter? We talking about it, 3-4 years ago, sure. And then fast forward, it's I remember Fletcher Cox was saying this, or Brandon Graham said this, and it's just that matters, and then hopping on the phone with him and talking to him and kind of getting a feel for who he is, and then I meet him in person, and it's okay, I get it.
Talk to so many fans, and it seems like everybody has a Calais Campbell story. They took a picture with you when they were this big, and all of a sudden they're going to college, and they got kids and families. Have you felt that love over the years from Cardinal fans? Do you have a message for them?
Yeah, I say, to the Cardinal fans out there, man, thank you for welcoming me back. Thank you for making me feel loved. This is a special place. I feel that family bond. The Red Sea was making rocking this year, man. Let's make sure that when people come and they come in, or any opponent comes to our stadium, they feel it. They know that this place is rocking, and it's going to be a battle, a bloodbath. And we coming for blood.
Can you give us a baseball bat swing? Can you give us everybody that signature celebration? Is that still your thing?
I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to do it anymore. I only want to do it until I got 100 sacks. Okay. And so I got my 100 sacks. I had to retire it.
So now what do you do?
Now I'm gonna do a little step back jumper, the balling. Because I did the baseball swing as as a homage to Neil Smith, who's one of my favorite players growing up. And that's what he did when he was young, and I thought it was so cool. But I told myself when I got to 100 sacks, if I got to 100 sacks, that I would be done with it. And that was probably like 40 sacks. So happened to get there, and I was all right. That's it. That's the last one. And so now I have to switch it up.
What's the secret? 30, almost 39. What's the one thing that keeps you going on?
I think if you do it with love, you do it well. And so I think I come in every day with the perspective that I'm blessed to be here. When I was young, it wasn't like this. I used to just dread coming in, going through the process because you didn't have the perspective. Sure. But once I got close to the end, which was a long time ago, I guess I wasn't that close to the end. But when I started thinking I was close to the end, I started realizing that this is a special place. This is a get-to job. I think that allows for me to come through and really be at my best and really just enjoy being here, and that kind of love you feel when you're here makes you not want to leave. Makes you want to stay. But eventually I got to go home, but not yet.
But you are home. Calais Campbell, welcome back.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, man. The Big 12 champs looking every bit like a team that's going to contend for a title once again this coming season. The host of ASU Fan Fest next week, Lena Washington, gives us a vibe check.
It's day 11 of Arizona State's spring practice, but the Sun Devils are ready to give it 100%. The energy is high, but the expectations are higher, and this team is eager to get at it.
Exactly. I'm ready to hit somebody.
The reigning Big 12 champs aren't going full tilt with their physicality just yet, but you can feel the attitude at practice.
Yeah, you can feel it. Things are getting a little chippy, going against each other every day, but that's what spring ball is. I want to see kids compete. I want to see kids talking trash to each other and how do they respond to adversity.
The goal is to establish team culture early in the year.
I feel like it's coming together this year, not just for me, but for everybody. You know what I'm saying? The guys that got here with me 3 years ago, I feel like we're all coming into our own, and it's starting to show. We already had a chemistry, but now that chemistry is stronger. You know what I'm saying? It's year 3 playing with each other, so it's exciting.
The Devils are dialing in the details with newcomers unlearning bad habits and returning players setting the standard.
Young guys, starting to learn more, and, older guys, come out here and not get complacent, but, keep our head down and work as well and show the young guys how it's supposed to go.
Spring ball culminates on April 25th at Mountain America Stadium with Fan Fest, the spring game under the lights from 5 to 7 p.m. They call it the state's greatest day. Pats Run, one of the most beloved traditions here in State 48, but a new one perhaps started with the Arizona State football team running with the kids for the first time.
3, 2, 1,
And this was our Leadership Council's idea, the Pat Tillman Leadership Council, to do something. And, we talk a lot about it's how do we get back to the kids of the community? How do we make future Sun Devils? And so they wanted to be a part of the kids event. Our Leadership Council can see the value it adds to these kids that are here today, and, something we maybe continue to do.
Oh, they rolling!
These are 18 to 23-year-olds on a Saturday morning. And the fact that we're not forcing them to be here, they chose to be here and be a part of this, I definitely think they understand the magnitude.
Yeah, it's super awesome. Last year I didn't have so much appreciation for it because I hadn't been here long enough to, know really about Pat's story and all that. But to now know about it and be a part of that and something, it's really special to be out here with all these kids and, everyone else who's just supporting the cause. And, it just gives me a platform to be able to, inspire young kids. I'm just trying to give back and do my part and show support for people who have shown support for me.
Well, that does it for us. Thanks so much for watching 12 Sports tonight on 12+. Same time, same place next Thursday. And don't forget, you can get the best sports coverage in town right here on the Arizona Sports Station, morning, noon, and night on 12 News. And if you miss us, head over to 12news.com, the 12 News YouTube page, or right here on the 12+ app on your TV. I'm Jake Garcia. We'll see you back here Sunday night at 10:30 on 12 Sports Tonight.